Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. This week's video is going to be a cute little St. Patrick's Day treat using these little chocolate coins. And this is a loonie because I'm in Canada and we're trying to keep everything wrapped because of this COVID-19 or coronavirus, so double wrapped. Okay, so I went ahead and made 2 samples of this, and I was assembling this, and it totally looks like a Mr. Potato Head because of the punch that I used for my little gnome's beard. But you know what? Sale-A-Bration. So I used 2 different sentiments. So if this is all punch art, and there are quite a few punches that you need, but for the sentiment, if you don't have Thanks for the Laughs, which is this sentiment here that I used, you could use Itty Bitty Greetings, and that has Have a Lucky Day. The other thing you could do is we actually have a St. Patrick's Day die, so I think we'll give you a third option here, and you can use Itty Bitty Greetings, Thanks for the Laughs, or you can use the dies. Can't remember which one this is. I will link all my supplies below and you can see that. But the punch art itself will be the same. It'll just be the tag that's different. So I am starting with a 2x6 inch piece of Whisper White regular cardstock, and I'm going to use my, I can never remember if it's detailed tag punch. I think that's what it is. And I always have to give that one a second little push because it doesn't always cut through on the first try. Okay, so that is our tag, and I like to round the corners, but we'll do that at the end, and you can use whatever punch you want for that if you have a corner rounder. I use the trio punch, the delicate trio punch, so I'll keep that out so I don't forget. I think for the St. Patrick's Day we're going to use Call Me Clover because how appropriate is that, right? So I'll just go ahead and die cut that. That is the only die cutting on this whole card, so you can actually do it with just punches if you skip this part. Actually, I lied because I needed it to look more like a leprechaun versus Mr. Potato Head. I did use these little flower dies, and that is from the Well Written framelit. So I'm just going to run one of those through at the same time. And I am just going to keep this on my plate for now. I'll move it out of the way so it's not blinding you. But we'll toss that aside for now and we'll do the rest of it and come back. Of course, it took the tag with the static. Okay, so we need some cardstock. I happen to have most of a gnome done here, but let's make a new one. So the punches that we need and the cardstock that we need. Okay, so I used pumpkin pie on my original card, but I think I'm going to use terracotta tile this time and hope that it's less pumpkin, or less pumpkin, less Mr. Potato Head. So for the hat, I'm going to use my 1.5 inch circle punch, and we're kind of giving him a bowler hat. I had wanted to do more of a top hat, and I was going to use the cake builder punch, but it was a little too small. So the next one we are going to use is the hot air balloon punch, and this is the beard, and you can use dies for this. The tropical oasis dies, I think it's tropical chic, the one that's part of that bundle. Those dies work perfectly for the beard, but I wanted to do it in a punch. I didn't want it to be a whole bunch of die cutting, so you can whip out a whole bunch of these in no time. So to start, I'm going to put some glue on here. Get that hat on. Probably looks even more like Potato Head now. And then with my classic label punch, I am going to do the brim of the hat. And then we'll do his nose. And that is just a 1/2 inch circle punch. I'm thinking it looks even more like a potato head now that I've used the terracotta tile. Whoopsie. And then for the feet, we are using the Perennial Essence punch. I don't remember what the punch name was, but like I said, I'll have all the supplies used below. So now I will just run a little line of glue on this. And I was actually able to do a whole bunch of these. I was at sale/crop today, so all I had to do was punch out a bunch of pieces, and I stood there and I assembled it, and it was great. It's always good to be working on something at a booth and then people ask you what you're doing. And it was a fairly small gathering, so I didn't feel so bad about attending, because of course with this whole coronavirus, the social distancing is in effect, but this was not a large group of people, so I was not all that concerned. Okay, now we are going to take our journaling pen, and you can use whatever black pen you have for this, and just put a little mouth on there. Totally looks like potato head. And then I'll add a little bit of glue. This glue was stuck, so now all the glue is coming out. So here's his little 4-leaf clover. I know it's not exactly a clover, but we'll use our imagination, right? And then using the Holiday Basic Rhinestones, I'm going to take one of the green ones, whatever color that is. Put that on there. Whoops, that lid doesn't go with that. Next, not going to put that on quite yet. I want to take my die cut. You want to be careful not to lose the dot of the I and the apostrophe. I don't know why I keep putting my take your pick tool away. So the dot of the I is still on here. Let's just use that little one. I don't know if that was the dot or just something left there, but we shall use that one. Now I still want to stamp on here, and what I am going to use is, I don't have a clover stamp anymore. If you had the can't remember what it was called, but the stamp set that coordinated with the stitched rectangles last year had the cutest little shamrock or clover, whatever you want to call it. It was so cute. I actually saw it on a card today at my sale because I was selling cards, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. I wish it had stuck around, but it didn't. So I am just using a heart from the Heart to Heart bundle. It's the largest. You can use the smallest. Totally up to you. And then I'm using soft sea foam so that I don't have to keep stamping off. And I'm going to create my own clover. So you can stamp them close, you can leave a little gap. Whoops. And I'll just stamp a few of those. Should we do one more? Yeah. Let's have one right here. Sorry, my head's probably totally getting in the way there. Let's do, you're probably not even gonna see it over here, but there we go. And you can always do a little bit of splatter, and I think we will, just to doll it up a little bit. So I am going to take my Call Me Clover Stampin' Right marker and just flick some ink on there. Try and turn it so that you're not going the same direction every time. You don't want like the same ink splatter, and then you can just soak it all up when you're done. And just a reminder that the 2018-2020 in colors are going away as of May 31st. So if you are wanting, let me pull out the colors so you can see them. Lovely Lipstick, Boo, Pineapple Punch, Grapefruit Grove, Double Boo, Call Me Clover, and Blueberry Bushel. All 5 of these colors are going away. So if you want the Stampin' Right markers, the ink pads, the re-inkers, the cardstock, any of the ribbon, and also the Stampin' Blends. And I'm just thinking Call Me Clover, Pineapple Punch, and Lovely Lipstick all have blends. So you're gonna wanna order these sooner rather than later. If they're on back order, just order them anyways, as long as they're not orderable, then consider adding them, and then when they are back in stock, they'll just ship to you instead of having to wait and see if they're in or not. Just add them to your order and you'll get them when they are back in. Easy peasy. Can't wait to see what the 2020-2022 in colors are going to be. That's a mouthful. It's a lot of 20s. Okay, so we could just put St. Patrick's Day, or we can use Happy from any stamp set, but I am going to use Happy from the Well Said stamp set. Wouldn't it be funny if that was the one that had popped off? Happy. And then I'm sure we have Day in here somewhere, even if we have to mask it. There's Birthday, Mother's Day. We could do a small day. Let's do that. So instead of pulling out my Call Me Clover ink pad, I am just going to do my Stampin' Right marker. But first I want to place these so that I don't run out of room. So let's put him over here. Grab some glue. See, my glue doesn't usually do this, but there was a blockage because I had left it out overnight, and now it just keeps running out. It's almost done. I've never had this happen before. I've also never left my glue out overnight. But isn't it good to know it doesn't dry out? And usually I would not put my glue upright like that, but okay, we're gonna move that up there. This one. Let's just line those ones up. Okay, and now we can stamp our Happy. Oh, I almost forgot the dot. Let's put a tiny dot of glue there. Pick up this dot. See, if I had done the tag the way I had done it earlier, this video would have been about 2 minutes. But I thought I'd step it up for you. Now you're probably thinking, oh, I wish you'd just done the short one. You can always fast forward or put it on the 1.5 speed for playback. That's what I do. I do not have time to watch all the videos that I want to watch, so I watch them at 1.5 speed. You could also use black for that. You don't have to use Call Me Clover. Okay, and now for Mother's Day, we don't really need to mask it. We're just only going to ink up the word day. Be nice and small. There we go. Isn't that cute? And now all we have to do is put a couple of dimensionals on this guy and we are ready to roll. Okay, so remember I said I wanted to round my corners. There we go. What am I missing here? There's something missing. Other than the candy. Oh, I know. I want some ribbon. So I'm going to take a little length of the crinkled seam binding ribbon. I'm going to take my dark Granny Apple Green and my dark soft sea foam. I'm going to color that ribbon because it's just too much white. So this one was soft sea foam, just on its own. And this one is what we're doing here. So it ends up looking variegated. And I like to start with the dark one and just kind of put strokes here and there, not all on the top. And then use my light color to blend it. Helps to just soften it up. Now speaking of soft, when you use blends on your ribbon, it tends to make them kind of crunchy. So to prevent that, just go along your bone folder. Give it maybe a few more minutes to dry, because if you can see, I'm getting ink on my folder. But it will bring it back so it's not so crispy. Fold it in half. And just put it through that hole. So I feel like this tag is, we've got your beginner, your casual, and your avid. The gnome is pretty much the same. Gnome, leprechaun, whatever you want to call them. But the techniques that we've done are different. So this one is very straightforward. The punch art, like I said, is the same. I would say that this one is more the beginner ribbon. The ribbon's kind of the same on these two. But we definitely stepped it up for this one. So the final step, I don't know if I like this one any better. I think this actually looks more like a potato now. I don't even see it as a gnome. So don't use terracotta tile. So with the chocolate, I just got these from Dollarama. I was looking for something at Dollar Tree and couldn't find it, so I ended up going to Dollarama. And you could put it just with the chocolate coin, but I wanted to keep it wrapped. So I just put 2 glue dots and there we go. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that that inspired you to make something for St. Patrick's Day, even if it's just a little treat. These chocolate coins do come in a package of 8, so it's $1. And then you punch out a few little gnomes and you've got something for 8 people. So Again, I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't hit that big subscribe button below, I would encourage you to do so. You'll catch a new video each and every week. I also share my Facebook Lives to my YouTube page. And I'm getting so close to the 1,000 mark that once I reach that, I can finally do YouTube Live, which I can't wait for. And if you need any of the supplies to make this or any other project using Stampin' Up! Product, I would love to have you shop with me. There are, if you're watching this when it's released, there are 2 more weeks to join my team during Sale-A-Bration. There are 2 more weeks to get Sale-A-Bration rewards when you place an order, so don't miss out. During Sale-A-Bration and all year round, you choose $165 worth of product for $135, but during Sale-A-Bration you will get this mini trimmer, the 6x6 DSP sampler, and a stamp set of your choice. And I would highly recommend something like this at a higher price point. This is $61 in Canada. It's a 2-case stamp set. So get the most bang for your buck. You will get a 20% discount on all your purchases after that. There's free shipping on the starter kit, and there's absolutely no pressure to run it as a business. You can use it for your own discount for as long as you'd like. So I, again, for the 3rd time, hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you again soon, my crafty friends. Bye.